Hi, my name is Tak, and things are a little different. Yeah, I'm at my desk now. I don't have my pretty lights, so you're just gonna have to deal with this. But today's a very interesting episode, I hope. So stick around for that. Just a little bit of context. In high school, I took film. Today, what we're gonna do is look at an old short film that we created for that class. And the people who worked on it in like my little group, we've all like gone our separate ways and stuff because we all have like different interests. But one of them won't leave me alone, and he'll be joining us today. His name is Lewis. Why don't you say hi, Lewis?
What's up? How you doing?
There he is. He's joining me, I guess, from Spain, and we're gonna talk about it. So let's dive in. So to begin, I'm gonna have you guys watch the short film that we created first without any commentary, and then we're gonna discuss it after the fact. Um,
All right. Come on, Nathan, put your hoodie up. We're professionals. All right. We got 10 minutes. And counting.
Relax. This entire neighborhood's asleep by now.
Straight up. Over here, go.
Hello?
Jeez, are you trying to wake up the entire hemisphere?
Relax, dude. No one's home.
Listen, more taking, less talking. Grab whatever it is that we came here for. Let's get the hell out of here.
So uptight.
Dude, look at all the cool things. Think of all the things we put in here. No. Look. Just take anything valuable here and let's get out of here. I got a bad feeling about this room.
Yeah, sure.
Oh my god, man, I swear to God, if the cops end up showing up on this, I don't even know what I end up doing.
Look, no one's going to catch us. We're fine.
He's got neighbors, if he doesn't catch us.
They're all asleep by now.
Look, 7 minutes on the clock and counting. If you're not out of here by this point, I'm leaving without you. When you're done with whatever it is you want to do here, head to the kitchen.
Yeah, fine.
What are you?
No. What does it look like?
Please, justify this.
We are not getting caught, okay?
Oh,
Yes.
Well, we're not. Listen, I do not care if we're not getting caught. There are -5 people in this entire neighborhood. You are going to listen to me, or we're turning this from a robbery to a homicide.
Fine. Okay?
Take those stupid glasses off your face.
You're not stupid.
look, let's just get out of here. Maybe with at least the computer or whatever won't be a total
Yes. Wait. Oh my.
Lock it! This thing isn't working. This thing's 100 years old.
Hold it down then.
Hold it. What the heck was that?
What was that?
I don't know. They've never seen anything like this.
It's locked. MDPD, open up!
I told you to stay quiet.
Now? Really?
We gotta let him in.
No. What?
Listen, it's our only way of getting out of this.
Not the,
They have
anything
guns.
else.
They can help us.
Anything else.
Come on.
I'm not.
Help! Help! We're in here.
Help!
Do this.
Help!
Help us, we're in here. Someone's inside. Sir, is there a problem? Put your hands up. Let me see your hands. Do either of you live here?
No, we don't.
Sir, have you had something to drink?
No, listen, there's a demon in this house. We need to get out of here.
That's it. You two are under arrest for breaking and entering.
Breaking and entering, that doesn't matter. You don't understand. There
No.
is a monster. What are you doing?
You are No, stop.
If anything you say can or will be used.
You don't understand. Listen to me for both our sakes.
Can and will be
Listen to
danger
him.
against you.
There's a creature in here, I'm telling you.
Yeah, listen to him.
You know, you keep saying that, but I don't see anything. You? More like a whole lot of nothing.
That's because it escaped.
Yeah. Tell it to someone who cares.
Jackson, why? What do we do? What can we do? Whatever that thing is, it's out.
So you guys have seen it now at this point. I guess we're gonna start off with what kind of the biggest issue with the short film is, and I have my own answer, but I want you, Lewis, to go first. Go for it.
The biggest issue. The biggest issue I think for me was like the lack of preparation, basically. Like we didn't really have a shot list or like a storyboard, if I remember correctly. It was kind of just like our director of photography. Remember him? He just kind of like, I think between me and him, we kind of like worked out a couple of like shots that were like looked cool or whatever, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna like change the camera this way," blah, blah, blah. And the framing and stuff of some of the shots was a little strange. So I mean, that's what I think. It's like the lack of like preparation. We kind of like started each day not knowing exactly what we were gonna do, so we ended up taking like more time than we needed. Right? If I remember correctly, we ended up taking like, I don't know.
Yeah, we
We
did.
were there until like 9 p.m.
I think a part of that also had to do with the fact that we didn't take it particularly seriously, I think, is another thing. We were just kind of there.
True.
You know, it was because it's fun. It's fun to do stuff with like, you know, people you know and you know friends and stuff like that. So like we didn't take it particularly serious, and I think that also contributed to kind of the product with which before I begin, I what do you think about the short film as like as a whole? Are you proud of it, or do you want people to not know it exists? Do you want people to know that you had nothing to do with it?
I wouldn't say necessarily that I'm proud of it. It's just more like I'm glad that we made it. It was fun, and that's kind of all it is for me. Like it was just a fun thing that we did. It was cool to do. But yeah, you're right. We didn't really take it that seriously. I feel like if we had really tried to take it more seriously, then we might have made it better. But it's not like we had a lot of time or a lot of like budget either, you know. So it's kind of like goofy at times. But yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to see it, I'll be like, oh yeah, look, I made this when I was in high school. Isn't that like cool or whatever? But I wouldn't exactly say that's like Oscar worthy or anything.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that. Um, and there are moments where it's like good. Like what would you say is so okay, so my answer to that question, like as far as what was maybe the weakest
Alright.
thing, um I would agree with what you said, and then I would also say the fact that we were just kind of like we weren't taking it the most seriously. I That's probably one of the things. But at the same time, I think how much fun we had, or I had at least, drew me to like do like filmmaking at least for a period of time. Um,
Mm.
so honestly, I think that sort of camaraderie helped with it, like sort of my attraction towards it. You know, I'm not the most
Mm.
you know, I may not feel as strongly as I do as I did back then, but you know, it's still like a fun. It would still be pretty fun to do it like today. I think, for instance, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Um,
no, I agree.
but what?
If there
Yeah.
were like a group of friends that
Hmm.
wanted to make a film, I'd be like, yeah, let's go. It's fun. So
Yeah, it
why
is.
not?
I would say also like, do you remember his the teacher's advice? The teacher, his name is Mr. Moreno. His advice, didn't he say at some point something like something along the lines of like don't have your don't be in the same group as like your friends. Is that something he said? Do you remember that?
Um, Probably, but then I think he kind of knew it was inevitable that people would pick their friends in their
Yeah.
groups.
Yeah,
Um,
and
and
yeah.
to a certain extent, I kind of disagree with that because, like,
Mm,
if you are with a group of friends that you think similarly about things or you share like a similar vision,
mm-hmm.
then you could make something and also have fun while making it. Which I think if you're with people you don't know, then like it's not as a rewarding an experience. But then again, you could like basically do what we did, have too much fun, not prepare enough, and take too much time because we're like messing around. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
kind of a
I mean,
double-edged sword in that way.
it makes sense for him to say that. Yeah, I don't remember him exactly specifically saying that, but he
Mm.
probably did. I remember he said many times he was like the director cannot be in the movie. Like he said that many times.
Really? I
Yes.
don't. Okay,
He
I can
had
see
other
why. It makes
directors.
sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. Because you know,
Yeah, I was the director, and he put all of us together, and he was like,
mm.
"Listen, you cannot be in your own movies because you cannot direct yourselves." And then I remember one guy was like, well, "What if I want to?" Blah blah blah, and he was like, "You're not some like auteur filmmaker. Like, you just don't
Exactly. You're not
be behind the scenes so
Tarantino,
you can see it."
or you're not Hitchcock. You can't do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, not even like a cameo. I mean, just don't be in the movie. Just
Period.
work behind the scenes, and we were kind of all like, "Okay,
Yeah.
yeah."
Mm-hmm.
I
What was
kind
I
of
gonna
wanted to
say?
be in it, but I also was like go
Mm.
against that. I was like, whatever.
Right. Also, so Lewis was the director. I wrote the short film. I was the screenwriter for it. So okay. So
There were many revisions, if I
what
remember correctly.
in the short film do you think um, is the weakest? And by the weakest, I mean like in terms of editing, or writing, or cinematography, or acting, even. What's like the weakest thing
Set design,
you would say?
set design. Honestly,
Set design.
I mean,
Okay.
it's not like the script was like a masterpiece. It's not like the photography was, you know,
Mm.
incredibly beautiful or anything. But honestly, I think when I look back on it now, we didn't have any budget. Obviously, we had
Mm-hmm.
like colored water in the jars, and that
Yeah.
was like our laboratory.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's it's I think we didn't mean it to be as funny as it ended
Mm-hmm.
up being, but it's kind of like funny in like a goofy kind of way.
Yeah.
And I think it's like the costumes and the set design and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff is
Definitely.
just kind of
Definitely.
goofy.
Definitely.
You know, super high budget, which you know it wasn't obviously.
It wasn't taken particularly serious too, because like we meant for it to be at least somewhat scary. I think with that, there needed to
Yeah.
be different choices made in cinematography. Like maybe you would cut in like you would have shots that were like tighter on like us. By us I mean me and our other actor. Maybe like different like additional shots just to kind of set the mood, and we really didn't have that. We stayed on the wide angle for much of the short film, so it was like
Right. And
there was
remember
no
why that
tension.
is?
There
Do
there
you remember
was
why
there was
that
no
is?
tension. At
Do
least
you
I feel
remember why
like.
that is though? Because I remember our DP had like a lot of like tighter shots that we ended up not using. You remember why?
No, why?
I mean, at least I think I remember that this was the reason. He had a lot of like shots that we were like, we kind of can't use that to build tension because the story that we've written is taking too long to, because he had a time limit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I remember telling Zach, who the editor, I remember telling him, I was like, because I remember it went too long at one point, right? And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
just the shots that are essential to the story, I guess. Because,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember the time limit was like 7 or 8 minutes,
Something like
if I
that.
remember. But yeah, it was too long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, too much stuff, actually.
There were I think part of the biggest thing, well, one of the biggest things to improve on would be like the pacing. A lot of shots were held for too long, and a lot of shots are
Mhm.
like not very important. Like like the very first scene when the car pulls up to the stop sign. I don't see the significance of that shot. Like we didn't need it. I feel like.
There were a lot of shots that I think we included, because again, not taking it seriously or whatever. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of shots that we included because one of us thought it looked cool. We were like, oh yeah, the car, the low shot of like the car's like front wheel, the way that it stops and you can see like the stop sign. I don't know, something like that. We were like, oh my god, it's cool. So we just like, kept it in.
Yeah, like there's like some sort of significance with the stop sign, which I mean ultimately,
Uh,
without that shot, it would literally have not done anything. Also,
yeah, I
like I
agree.
remember one of the shots, one of the in the scene where myself and our other actor, his name's Julian. It's fine if we name him. I think. Um, where we go through the hallway.
What if we give their full name?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, where he finds the key in the closet. First of all, that scene lasted like something like 30-40 seconds when it didn't really need to. Like that's an example of what I think.
Because you couldn't find the key.
Yeah,
Because you couldn't
like
find
30
the
or 40
key.
seconds. Instead, he could have just been like, "Oh, it's in this
It
basket.
was a
Oh, it's right
random.
here." I
Right.
feel like I feel like that one, for instance, is an example of one that took too long. I would say we should have cut out some parts that aren't necessary from the script. That is, and then instead took that time to build more tension. I think that would have been a better decision when it comes to that short film, to what we did.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree
Okay.
with that.
What is something that we did right? What is something that we did that you liked?
The banana.
The banana. The banana. Okay. What did the banana scene accomplish for us though? Like what did it do?
Nothing.
It did nothing. It did nothing.
I think it established, if anything, it established the characters a little bit. One of them is more like laissez-faire, like whatever, no one will catch us, and the other one's
Yeah.
more like um, more uptight, which is when he says, "Oh, we gotta open the door, like, we gotta let the police in," because he's like more concerned for their safety and everyone's, But then the other one's just like, "No, we don't want that in the police." Like, it kind of fits with that.
Okay.
And the beginning as well, when he like walks in, he's like, "Hello," and the guy's like, "Hey, shut up! Why are you being so loud?"
So you think we did the character development part well?
I mean, as well as can be done
Okay.
in just a short time and with something that's not really character driven.
Mm-hmm. I
It's not
think,
really about the characters. It's about
yeah.
I guess.
Um, I would have to agree. I think the characters were probably one of the better parts of the actual of the whole piece. It was, yeah, the characters were, yeah. I would have to agree with that. Something else we did right. What about how do you feel about our lighting? Because if I remember correctly, a lot of the lighting choices were made by you, right?
I remember very
Mm.
specifically pushing for that blue lighting because I had
Okay.
just seen Blade Runner and I was like, that's cool. And then you know me, so I was like, we need to do blue
Yeah.
lighting, And I I don't have a problem with the lighting. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. I don't think it takes away from it, but I don't think it like
Added very
changes the
much.
whole mood of it, right?
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
What do you think about the lighting?
What did I think about the lighting? It's fine. I mean, I feel like the blue like light. I mean, part of it has to do with sort of the limitations of our equipment, right? It was just like a handy camcorder
A filter, yeah,
worth like
and it was just like a
nothing.
filter on like a light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember what we used for the light?
I seem to remember we used like like a folder, like for a notebook, for a binder, but then like it melted. And we ended up
Yeah.
using
Yeah.
these because the light was too hot.
Mhm.
But then we ended up using I forgot the name of it, but it's like it reminds me of like a cutting board, like when you're cooking, but it was like thinner, and it was meant to cast blue light.
Right.
You
It
put it
was
on
a
the front of the
filter.
light. You cast it onto the front of the light. Yeah.
Do you remember where the divider came from? Because it was a binder divider, and it came from one of my binders. It came the divider, the blue divider came from my binder, and because we brought the lights, but what was it? There wasn't a blue gel. It was
Yeah.
so
So we had to improvise something in the front.
we had proper studio lights that got legitimately hot. So I think it
That
didn't come with.
I dropped one. Like I knocked one
Oh
over
my
into the
god, that's
ground on it.
right.
Remember?
I remember one of
And it
them. I
didn't
remember one of
break.
them falling. Yeah. Oh my god,
And
you're
it
so
didn't
right.
break.
I remember
Thank
that.
God. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
don't drop
everybody was
lights.
like, "Are you serious? Like, are you an idiot?" And then I was like, "Well, comes and goes." But
Well,
then
you
it didn't
know.
break, so I put it back up.
Yeah, the divider came from my binder, and that was like that felt like a real like MacGyver moment, where it was like we didn't a real like problem solving moment right there. It was like we don't have the
And
gel.
then
What
it
do we do? It's
melted.
like, well, I got a binder. I got dividers, so we use that. But it
The
melted.
effect was
Melted.
kind of similar to what we ended up with, but yeah, it melted.
Later on I had like a handheld little light that had a blue filter on it. So there was a little slot
hmm
that you just slide the filter in, and it would cast a blue light. So that was what we used for the rest of the
Yep, you would
movie.
like clasp it on the front.
Yeah,
hmm
there was like a little slot
And
that's
the one shot,
fits in.
two shots that really inconsistent. The one where the light you can see it in the reflection of the painting,
Mm-hmm.
um, which we realized during editing, me and Zach. But I was like,
Mm-hmm.
we can't go back and film more,
Yeah,
so I
there's
just left it in there. And then also the one where there's like a painting on the wall, then they turn away, they come back, the painting's not there anymore or something.
and then wasn't there at one point
Continuity,
the
but yeah,
tripod
it
was
was
in the
his
shot?
house, so we couldn't exactly.
Mm.
I don't remember. There was one where like, the leg was in the shot, but you have to like look for it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
remember you saw it. I think it was you, and I
Mm.
was like, I didn't even notice it was there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know how you found it, but and I was like, oh yeah, that is the leg of the tripod that I didn't even notice.
Part of the thing with like continuity and then like the reflection in the painting, I don't think it's something you're gonna notice as a viewer. Like you're not if we did our job right, you won't see those things because you're looking at the action. You're looking at our subjects walking through this house. We're looking at, maybe what they're holding. You're not looking at, oh, what's around the frame, what's going on. Ideally, anyway.
Right.
What's something that you took away from the experience? It can be just about anything.
I took away sort of like a love for that kind of stuff. The love for like media,
Oh, okay.
basically, like creating media, which I still have. Of course. It was a lot of fun. Um, to do it with your friends and everything. But I also kind of had a feeling, like once it was finished, like what we've been saying, that we didn't take it seriously enough. I was like, I could have been better, like we could have made it better. And then I kind of felt guilty about that because I was like supposed to be the director, So I was like, but like I should have mobilized the troops, so to speak. Like we should have paid more attention. We should have, made more effort. We could have done better.
Okay.
Not that it's like bad. It's kind of goofy. It's kind of fun to watch. It's kind of tense, like in a few parts. But then I was like, well, we could have done a little better.
Yeah, I think so too. I would have to agree. I would say I would say that's one of the things that I regret about the sort of the project is that, it was too goofy. We had too much fun, and it could have been. We could have mobile. I should have been a little more vocal with like ideas for shots. But the thing also was like, I was like I wrote the thing and then at that point I was acting in it. And so I didn't want to have too much responsibility in that way, I guess. So I was just kind of like, whatever. And I think if I could have done some suggestions a little bit. I think that's probably one of the biggest things. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of think that in a way, our roles were a bit too specialized,
Mm.
if that makes sense. Because you were the writer and you acted in it.
Mhm.
But like you said, you didn't weren't. I'm sure you had some ideas about shots. And then Zach was just kind of like there. He was like the grip, basically. He was like moving stuff around.
Yeah,
He was like,
essentially.
"Well, you don't do anything until we edit." But then, if maybe he would have been able to edit better if he had some input.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, Dill was like really focused on the shots, and for the most part, I kind of let him be focused on that. I was like, "Yeah, you could do it this way." And he was like, "Oh, I like this way because whatever." And I was like, "Okay."
As I recall, like my script didn't get chosen necessarily because it was good, but because it was uh, realistic. It was possible.
Mm,
It was possible on our
yeah.
kind of budget, on our in our kind of like situation. I remember Zach's script because so for the class we had to all write a script, and mine got
Yeah.
chosen because kind of it was what was possible. I think our
Yeah.
roles,
Look at this.
yeah, I think kind of the fact that we all just kind of got stuck with our roles, like just because I wrote the script, I had to be sort of the screenwriter. And I think because of that, we all got into like sort of roles that we weren't super fit to do, I guess. Does that make sense?
Mm,
At least in my
yes.
case, because I gravitate more towards cameras, as you can probably imagine. Like I enjoy fiddling with cameras, playing with cameras, doing stuff, playing with lighting.
How to camp.
How to camera, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think that's
You
where
should
my
plug your channel, plug your videos.
well, this is going on the YouTube channel anyway, so but I will. You know what?
Oh,
Hi,
okay. Never mind.
hi.
Plug the videos on the channel that you're watching right now. Go check out his other videos. Very informative.
I didn't prompt him to say that, by the way. That was not prompted.
I did. I said that by myself, but it's true. You should. Anyway,
You should watch it.
but I think it was kind of by the aside. by the assignment, the parameters of the assignment,
Mm-hmm.
we were all supposed to take our own role and then sort of stay in that role. Like Marina was saying, directors shouldn't be in the movie. Directors shouldn't be breathing down the editor's neck and telling them everything. So um, then we were kind of supposed to stay within our role, but then I think that if there would have been a little bit more like melding of ideas, it would have been better. Because I mean, Moreno wouldn't know if we were, on the time we were shooting by ourselves, if we were collaborating a little bit more. So
Yeah, you might be
I
right.
think it, I think it would have been better that way. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. What would we do differently? Say we had the opportunity to shoot with all of us, all of us. Yeah, say we had the opportunity to redo It's Out with all the same people, with the same roles. What would you do differently?
Probably differently. I would make sure that we have clear. I would make sure that we have a schedule actually, and I would make sure that we have storyboards because I remember we had to make storyboards for the assignment, but we ended up not using them
Yeah, we
much.
ended up not following it very much
Um,
because
I
we,
would
yeah.
definitely have schedule and storyboards, and yeah, I would plan it out more at the beginning.
hmm Given that also, in our defense, kind of, we didn't have the most time. Did we procrastinated a little bit, didn't we? I feel like we did. I feel like literally
We
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 storyboarded.
started filming a little bit.
We did, but it was out of necessity. It had to be nighttime when we were shooting because you don't rob a playset in the daytime.
No, no, no. I mean late. Like in comparison to other groups, we started like a few days later, I think.
Oh, okay, okay. What would
Yeah.
what would I would have suggest I for me I would have said like, hey, let's like try this, let's try this angle, given also that if we had all the time in the world to do this, or like at least more time, I'd be like, hey, like let's try
Right.
doing this, let's try
But
doing this a little bit. I am not
I think even
yeah,
more than.
yeah, go for it.
No, no, go ahead. I'll say it later. No, I'll say it later
i
because it's not related.
I don't, no, this is what I was about to say isn't related either, but okay, so I'm not the biggest fan of the script, if I'm totally honest. My script again, it got chosen out of its practicality. But I'm not in love with it, if I'm honest. Like there were better projects. There were better projects than ours. There were better short films than ours. I can say, and and you would agree, right? There were better ones, like people who had better
Yes, but there
stories.
were also worse ones. But
I
yes.
I am not just talking about like aspects of like shooting and whatnot. I'm talking about the story. There were better stories told. Like on and because we all
Yeah,
got to
there
watch
were
it.
a few eights out of ten. Eight
There
out of
were a
tens.
few
Ours was like
proper
ten.
ones,
Then,
and ours
Mm.
was just kind of like kind of kind of jokey, kind of hokey, kind of silly. And so I'm not like super
Yeah,
in love with it.
it wasn't really that deep.
But if we had to reshoot that one, I think the thing I would do differently is suggest some shots. Suggest some shots mostly. Yeah.
Mm.
Um.
Another thing that I think would
Mm,
have helped greatly was if we actually had a budget. Because by
mm,
budget, like it's not like we had a budget. You know how like movies nowadays are made with like $100 million budget.
yeah.
Um, and then like a independent film might be like I don't know, like I have $100,000. Oh my God, it's so much. We had no money. Like we spent like $30
None.
for the whole thing, I think.
Yeah. The most
Right,
expensive
and most
was
of it
yeah.
was on pizza.
And most of it was on
If it was on
pizza. Yeah.
pizza.
Do you remember the costumes? Do you remember how much those
Yeah.
cost? How much did the costumes cost? Do you remember?
I do not remember. I think they might have cost in total like 15, maybe.
Really? For both?
for both. I think so.
That's not bad. That'd be
Honestly, if we
really
would have had more budget, I would have gone to like Party City or something and bought like Halloween stuff because for the lab, you know.
mm-hmm.
I feel like honestly you could take some like Party City type stuff, and if you don't make it too obvious that it's like, cheap plastic or whatever, with the lighting, with the camera angles, you can make it look more like a proper lab as opposed to like a bunch of like test tubes with like water in them.
I think, yeah.
And the costumes, that would be something else. So if you had more budget, it would be different. I think it would look less goofy. Those actors were like your friends, right?
Yeah,
Or like people you knew,
people I
and
knew.
then I never spoke to them again.
The
Okay.
cops, by the way, we're talking about the police. Yeah, the people
Yeah, the
that.
cops, the cops.
Yeah, the day of shooting, I'd asked her, I'd asked one of them, and I asked another person who was a no-show, and I asked her if she had a friend she can bring, and she did, and so that's what we shot, and so that's who we shot with.
Yep.
Yeah,
She just showed up on the day, right? Like we didn't brief
yeah,
or anything. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure.
It was.
And yeah.
She was a lifesaver though. She was great. She was good too as like a like an acting as like she had acting chops. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit, a
She
little bit.
she she was into the role.
Mhm.
Yeah, she was into the role.
Mhm. My biggest takeaway would have been is rather
Okay.
and it's not really to do with like dealing with people, but I'm just like as a general like short film like filmmaking. Um, and I understand that I'm not like the foremost with like advice when it comes to filmmaking. I'm not super great and successful at it, at least I wouldn't say so as much as I am with photography. But then again, I'm not great at photography either. So, but I think I'll say this, right? Editing, like cut like a lot, like get to the point, get to the point, get to the point. A lot of times, I remember like in the shots, like get to the point. Like there was so much downtime. There was so much like so there was so much where like nothing was happening, and like hardly anything was happening. And I remember a rule of thumb, a kind of a rule of thumb, a shorthand of like sort of that rule is if the scene lasts longer than the time it takes you to say what's happening in the scene, it's too long. There was a bunch of words there, but that's a rule of thumb that I heard is if the scene takes longer than the time it takes for you to say what's happening in the scene, then it's too long. Then cut it. Cut it at some point. Cut to something else. Cut away to something like that, because you're on one hand you're wasting time, and on the other hand you're not being an effective storyteller. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things is pacing and like editing. But yeah, that's probably one of the biggest takeaways for me when it comes to actually filmmaking and like sort of what revolves around that, I would say. So yeah.
Okay. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. And then as
I
like
like that. I like that.
yeah. And then as like a personal thing, I would say like probably should have tried a little harder with that. At that point in time, I was like really little apathetic about everything. I was kind of like, this is high school, it's whatever, and filmmaking was just too much fun, and kind of had too much fun. So then it was just kind of like it just produced that product, which I don't like dislike. I think it's like I think it's funny. I think it's for what we had, it was pretty good. For what we had, so.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm not mad at the way it turned out. I just feel like there's more potential that we didn't get to, but I'm not mad at the way it ended up.
Yeah. Same. With that, I think we're gonna finish up the video. We're gonna finish the video here. Tell us what you guys think. If you guys watched the video, tell us what you guys think in the comments down below. Watch it on his channel. I'll put a link down there. I don't actually know if I'm gonna get like a
nice.
copyright
Thank you.
strike or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I'll leave a link to your YouTube channel. Sure. I'll leave a link to his YouTube channel. Check it out. With
Alright,
that,
cool. Plug each other. Check out the rest of his videos, because if you want, I mean, if you want to learn how to camera, you know, it's good to know.
yeah.
All right, goodbye, people, watchers of his channel, enjoyers of his content, and um, people with excellent taste, because you watch this channel, so I know you have excellent taste. So have a good day or night, and have a good rest of the week. Also, goodbye, people. Have a good one.
If you learn something, like, subscribe, favorite. Okay, bye.